Welcome to IT-byrån. Today we are diving into the exciting theme of devices go human, and we will be exploring how technology is evolving to enhance human experience and to shape the future of the digital tools that we are using. I'm your host. My name is Camilla Stark, and I'm thrilled to have three fantastic guests with us today.
We have Andrew Dyke from Meta joining us via link. We have Emelie Fågelstedt, XR-strategist, and Sanna, Grannas digital strategist at Avoki. Very welcome, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is fascinating to see how using technology has evolved from being a specialized skill to something more universal that we are using. And looking ahead, we will see more of human-centered devices, for sure. And imagine a future where screens and keyboards take a backseat, and we are interacting with the technology through voice commands, eye movements, touch pads, or other new solutions yet to come. And already today, we are using wireless earpods and smartwatches, smartphones that allows us to make calls and dictate emails. And this is just the beginning. So join us as we will discuss how devices go human. Emelie and Sanna, as we explore this topic, it's evident that technology is evolving rapidly. How do you see these advancements affecting various aspects of our lives, both personally and professionally? Starting with you, Emelie.
Well, I definitely think that technology will become more seamless. As you're mentioning, we're already using it in so many aspects of our lives that we might not even think about today. I mean, the unthinkable thing of just running around with your smartphone and having access to the whole world was probably something no one would have imagined just 15, 20, 25 years ago. But I do think that it's really cool now with like devices. They're becoming smaller, they're becoming smarter. So we both see our homes. Of course, we've been talking about smart homes for a long time now, but I do think that we're going to see those, the smartest become even more intuitive. So when you walk into your house, the house already knows what to do for you. Your refrigerator can help you go shopping or give you advice on what to cook for dinner or all those things that you need to do in your everyday life. But of course, I am also really fascinated by what we will be able to do with immersive technologies like VR or AR, where you can step into a digital world. But even more so, as the talk goes right now, that we will add different types of digital layers to the world around us. And I don't think that we'll always see people running around with these gigantic VR headsets, even though they are pretty cool and they do turn out cool in pictures and so on. But I don't think that the mainstream adoption will come while the devices are this big and bulky. I do, however, think, and I'm very sure that we will see different types of digital layers through like smarter glasses that are smaller, maybe even contact lenses that will just help you integrate both the digital world and the physical world into one. And as you're saying, maybe we won't be maybe we won't need our phones the same way. Maybe we won't need to sit like this on the subway all day just looking at something in front of us, because we will be able to add those layers around us instead.
Interesting and exciting. Sanna, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree to all that you said. And if you look a bit further into the future, it would be really interesting to think about the possibility when we are integrated with the technology and maybe could be able to reach the age of 250 or even 500 years, because we are able by bioengineering to remove scrumpy parts of our body and have different upgrades. And I don't know if that's a perk, but it's a possibility. We talked about it a bit before, but professionally, I really hope that we can look back when we retire and see that it's been a part for us to solve the way we operate in our planet, to operate within the planetary boundaries. So with help of all the evolving technology, we can thrive, both the businesses and the society. So big possibilities. And I hope to see them all in the best way.
Very exciting, I think.
And Meta has been at the forefront of integrating human-centric design into technology, particularly focusing on virtual reality. Can you elaborate on some specific design principles or strategies that Meta employs to ensure VR experiences are user-friendly and intuitive?
Yeah, so the whole development that Mark Zuckerberg saw as the focus for VR has kind of grown in 4 areas. There's the training and development, which I mentioned earlier. There's also design and collaboration, which basically allows you to do a virtual design in a virtual world and allow external people or additional people to be part of that collaboration and design solution, so that you can have interaction with everyone globally and still act as if you're in the same place. Conferencing, and we've integrated with organizations such as Microsoft, who have Microsoft Mesh, which is their AI conferencing virtual platform. And Meta also has the Horizon platform. And also we see well-being as a strategy to help employees or people at work to have experiences that help them to relax and to give them more fulfillment in life. So those are the 4 key areas. Meta has opened up the platform to be an open system, focusing on the Android platform. So Meta has developed their own Horizon operating system, which, as it's an Android platform, we're allowing it to integrate with other partners.
So it's important to work together with a lot of partners in order to create solutions for the users. That's really interesting.
And Emelie, you are currently involved in a very interesting project, Modda Sörmland. It's a project driving initiatives that utilize VR to replace traditional methods like books. Can you share some specific examples of how VR has transformed learning and educational experience?
Of course. So Modda Sörmland is Sweden's first digi-physical science center, and it's an initiative from Region Sörmland. So all the 9 municipalities within the region are involved. And what we're doing within this project is that we're looking to make kids and young adults more interested in technology. The reason being, as we look ahead, we understand that there will be a greater need for tech competences. This is, of course, not just within our region, it's within the whole world. But looking at statistics, Region Sörmland is currently quite far down in different lists when it comes to the amount of young children that decide to study natural sciences and technology programs in gymnasium. Looking at other studies, we do see that children's interest in technology is the highest around grade 4 or 5, and then it's the lowest around grade 8. Mm-hmm. So in order to really make a difference, it's important that we target children and start inspiring them already when they start school, but specifically around the age of 10, 11, 12, to ensure that this great interest they have is kept there. So what we're doing right now within Region Sörmland is that we're utilizing different XR technologies, where VR is the one that we're using the most, to let children experience things that might not have been possible to experience in schools otherwise. So for instance, kids get to put on VR glasses and go and meet real-life dinosaurs and interact with them. Or they can go up on a field trip, the whole class, to the Arctic to see the melting ices and better understand the impact of climate change, which they might be reading about, and that's great. But when you experience something, you get a whole different type of memory from it. You get a spatial learning in a different way, which studies show, although not that much have been done on VR specifically yet, but by experiencing things, you learn in a different way and it sticks in your mind in a different way. And I know, for instance, I was talking to one teacher in Flen, which is one of our municipalities, and she's using VR a lot with her grade 3 students. And one thing that they have been doing is traveling out to outer space. And also the excitement from the children. I know she said that there was one girl that came to her and said, "Wow, I never imagined that I would go to school and be an astronaut for a day."
That's fantastic,
yeah.
Isn't it? Mm. Yeah. So bringing in the joy and fun and experience, as you're saying, in the learning process, which will be very important for when they are grown up and entering the work life.
Yes, and definitely. And such a big part of this is, of course, to ensure that the people in school with the children feel confident and that they understand the power of this technology, or whether this method of using experience-based learning, where we do see that VR is one of the best ways to bring that into the classroom today. So we are currently, with the help of the European Social Fund, educating 450 teachers within the region to ensure that they understand the basics of using VR technology and what experience-based learning is all about. So it's very exciting, and this project will run at least until the end of 2027. So it's super interesting to see.
Yeah, and interesting to follow for us. And Sanna, based on a survey that Avoki made together with Kairos Future, top performers are leveraging cutting-edge technology to stay ahead. How do you see this trend impacting VR and other advanced technology adoption across different organizations, and what strategies can be used by businesses to maximize their benefits? What do you say?
I think you can find a lot of the elements that you are talking about, that you should mimic those, to be curious about what's out there and then try them out. I think that's the most important message to all leaders, to just try them out. And you can borrow like an old 1, 2, 3 tip, like one, think big, look and see what's out there, what evolving tech is out there, and try to see which one you want to place your bets on and focus on trying them out. And then to start small, find ways in your operations where you want to be more efficient or raise skills or improve structure or something, and create projects and the structure for your employees to try them out, like sandbox environments, or make sure that they have time and money to do it, and then be ready to scale, because you will find things that will be your new business or other way to attract people or whatever it is. So yeah, think big, start small, scale fast. I think that's a general tip, but I think that is really what you need to do. Be curious.
Yeah,
about the new tech.
Very good tips. Start.
Yeah, start.
And based on your experience, what are the common challenges organizations face when implementing new technologies, and how can they overcome these obstacles? Starting with you.
Yeah,
you can continue, Sanna.
I think I have a leadership bias here, so I will choose that perspective on it, because many times when you've been in your own organization or helping other organizations out, we underestimate the prerequisites needed for leaders to implement the change. So we have focus on the technology or the system that we will implement, but we lose track of the benefits we want to achieve and give the organization what they need to be able to get that in place. So make sure that you have leaders that understand the mission and that they have time to lead it through, because you won't get the benefits you hope for unless you both communicate it with the organization, you communicate why you're doing it, what it is, how they can be a part of it, and what help they can get. So that's really important. But also, as we said, make sure that the leaders have time to be persistent, and make sure that all the employees understand it, interact with it, and hopefully like it, so you get a stickiness to the change you want to make. So, yeah.
So make sure to go all the way, not just try it and then let it go.
Yeah, it's not a tech change. It's a behavioral change that needs to be done most of the times. And that, I think we underestimate that part.
Interesting. And what are your experience within this, Emelie?
Well, I'd say it's a lot about the mindset, as you're saying, Sanna, about being curious and also creating an organization that really allows people to try things out. And I know I heard a saying that you should try, or even if you fail, you should always fail forward. So you will always learn from failure. But the thing is that you can't just give up, as you're saying. You can't just try something one time and then say, okay, let's not do this because it didn't work out. Because we don't know. That's the thing. Looking ahead 2, 3, 4 years from now, just looking at, for instance, generative AI and humongous impact that has had on our lives just since ChatGPT came out and everyone started playing around with AI. The things you can do today that you wouldn't have imagined be possible just 2 years ago. But I do think that for organizations, it's super important to like embrace that mindset that you can be curious, you should be curious, and not everything will work out straight away. But if you don't try it, then probably you will fall behind. But I do also think it's important that when you're trying these things out, that you do have a clear objective in mind, what the ROE will be from this, that there is some kind of greater impact. Like we were talking about VR, and I do not think that the solution is to replace everything with VR. I do not think that instead of Teams meetings, we will all sit with VR headsets and meet in that type of environment. But if you do look at specific instances, like with training, for instance, security training, safety training, or learning things, and you look at like different companies utilizing that today, you can save a lot of money. You do not need people to travel. You can let them experience different types of experiences and situations that might have been super dangerous. But by trying it out with VR, you can teach people, but you can also save money and you can see an effect. So try and understand already from the beginning, what is the ROE in using this new technology? What are we trying to achieve? So have all the fun and curiosity in mind, but also a clear objective on what the point is we're trying to do this.
Good advice, I must say. And building on that, what role do you think collaboration and knowledge sharing play in driving technology and innovation within organizations?
I think that it's so important. I do not think that we will be able to move forward unless we collaborate. Of course, within an organization, it's super important for like all different disciplinaries to work together, but also for companies to be open to speak with each other. I know within like the VR space, for instance, there has been a metaverse Cortesium where a lot of like big companies are coming together. I know Meta is part of this as well, and that they are sharing their insights from the technology, because they will all be making mistakes. They will all have learnings. And instead of everyone making the same mistakes, think of the possibilities if you work together. And of course, it's the same with AI. And we see the organization AI Sweden that's really like bringing together all these organizations working with AI and generative AI, and how important that is to really ensure that the things we're building, the things that companies and organizations are delivering, are having a real impact on people, on organizations, but also, as you were saying, Sanna, on societies as a whole, because there are so many bigger challenges than just like, having good revenue as a company that we can work for. We can also work to save the planet in different ways, but we can only do that if we are open and share with what we're learning together, I think.
Good. Do you want to add something to that, Sanna?
I don't think I have anything to add. I'm on the absolute same page as you. There's no other way going forward if you want to have a place in the world of business.
Yeah.
What do you say, Andrew?
So in terms of a more broader perspective of implementation, we're working with a lot of partners, and we're finding that as with any implementation of technology, it's always good to have a strategy, and it's always good to have that strategy, test it, and then relaunch it. And what we're seeing is that customers or people using virtual reality are doing this in a smaller scale, launching these products and getting some feedback from the test group. And then as that develops, they're getting to a stage of seeing that virtual reality has seen some benefits. They will then extend it maybe to another application, and then another application, and then they will extend it to the team. So I think the safest way of launching a product is to really take it in small steps initially, because it's new technology, it's an emerging technology in emerging markets, and taking each step one at a time. And as you overcome any hurdles, you learn from that experience, then you can expand it to, if you start with 10, then you can expand it to the rest of the 100, and then expand it to the rest of the organization. And what Meta is also doing, and a lot of organizations are doing, not just Meta, is allowing users to add additional applications as they become familiar with the first application. So it then becomes a bit of a normality to train in virtual reality, so that they can have that experience, they can move on to different topics and different aspects of virtual reality or whatever it is that they're learning. and then they can just grow that experience and have that expectation, because it's proven that, you know, if you're doing something practical in virtual reality, your memory retention is 3.5 times more than if you're doing it in theory. And also the process is memorized 3.5 times more, because you're actually doing that process in virtual reality and you're not just reading it off a book. So the more that this can be done in a scaled and managed way, the more that I think organizations will see the best results.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and insights. And I believe that we will see so much more of this. And one learning is you need to start, you need to try, and you need to fail, and that's okay. But you need to have a specific goals with what you want to achieve with it. That's how I summarize this. So thank you so much. And also a heartfelt thank you to the listeners who have tuned in to IT-byrån. And please join us for the next episode, since we are continuing to explore the mystery of the ever-evolving world of technology. And until then, stay curious, keep exploring, and please embrace all the possibilities that is brought to you by IT-byrån and Avoki. Thank you.